Hey guys, it's Stephanie, and welcome to another episode of Thriving in New Home Sales Podcast. So today is all me and you. We're doing a solo show today, which sometimes is the hardest show for me to do because I don't have a script. There's nobody to interview, and I don't want to ever go off on a tangent and totally bore you to death. So what I've been wanting to do for a while is come to you like once a quarter or every 6 months or so with like a book recommendation because I'm a total bookworm and I have been for years. And so one of the books that I've been rereading here recently is called The Miracle Morning for Salespeople. Now, this book has, and it will change your life. And I don't say that lightly. I've read a lot of self-help books. My husband can attest, like I literally probably have read everyone out there. And I'm still not cured. So haha, no, I'm teasing. Well, kind of not really. But so there's this book out there called The Miracle Morning, and it's by Elrod. Okay. But then they've also made a Miracle Morning for realtors and a Miracle Morning for salespeople and a Miracle Morning for college graduates, which is actually what I got my sisters for Christmas this year. One of their presents. And this book is awesome. So I really wanted to bring it to you guys. And if you're watching on YouTube or on the video, I'm holding it up right now to show you guys the cover of it. And it is crazy how much impact one book can make on you. If you're looking for some up-leveling in your life, you're looking for some positive vibes. So what I thought we'd do is just, I don't want to like go through and quote everything and try to like, frankly, regurgitate statistics and all that kind of stuff. I just want to talk about the book, what I like about it, and kind of some points that you can take home if you're just listening to this in the car on a run to where you can be like actual tactical about it. But then I highly recommend you go get the book. And they actually did a Miracle Morning video. It's more like a documentary. It launched 12/12 of 2020. So I actually bought a ticket for it whenever it came out and premiered. It's really good. I had Leroy watch it with me when he got home from work one night. He was thrilled, let me tell you. But he actually, after that movie, like was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. So there's a lot in it. And basically the gist of it is, let's be real. We all know it wouldn't hurt us to get up early, right? But in the field we're in, being in real estate, being in new home sales, a lot of us don't have to get up and go to work until a little bit later in the day. Yes, if you have kiddos and you're getting them off to school, but even if you're doing that, there's a lot of times no time you're setting aside for yourself in the morning. And if you're like us, sometimes we don't get home till 8:30, 9 o'clock at night from work. And then it's dinner time. And if you've got kiddos, it's homework and bedtime and all that. And you're exhausted, right? And then the cycle continues. And how do you break out of that? How do you actually have time to give yourself some space mentally, right? And so many of us don't even know we need that because we've never really had it. So this is a great, I think, way, and you can even do like they have a 30-day challenge to where if you want to read through it and then just start incorporating some of the things that they recommend. So the biggest takeaway from this book is I need a mental cleanup every single day. And the best time for me to do that is in the morning before the house gets up, before anybody gets up, before I need to take dogs out to go pee, before, I need to talk to my husband, like any of that. And if we get up at the same time early, then a lot of times we'll go in separate rooms, not because we're mad at each other, but just to actually have some space by ourselves. I think that's very, very healthy. And so there's this thing in the book called the lifesavers. Okay. And that's where the transformation happens. And I thought it'd be cool just to talk about what those are. And then again, you can do this on your own, or you could actually go get the book. Because as sales professionals and in real estate, we're in reaction mode every single day, right? So much of our days are spent, if you're in a model home and you're constantly having people come through your door, even though you're trying to eat lunch or even though you're trying to meet with another customer, you have to react to a lot of things during the day that you don't even plan on. And what happens is your body's always in that mode, okay? And so even though it may sound simple, taking like an hour in the morning and breaking it down into 6 different pieces and doing different things during those pieces, which I'll talk about here in a second, that can have so much impact on your state of mind, which then translates into how you feel, which then translates into how you treat people and how you think of things. And it goes on throughout the day, even though it seems really unrelated, okay? So in Hal's book, in The Miracle Morning for Salespeople, he actually writes with Ryan Snow. And there's this process called the lifesavers. And so what Leroy does a lot of times is he'll take an hour and he'll do 10 minutes of each thing. I'll do a little bit more than that, and I'll tell you why here in a second. But at the end of the day, do what's right for you, because if you're making progress, that's a win. So it's the lifesavers. Savers is an acronym. Okay. And I'll tell you what it stands for initially, so you don't have to keep wondering if I just talk about the first thing. So savers. So the S stands for silence. The A stands for affirmations. The V stands for visualization. The E stands for exercise. The R stands for reading. And the last S stands for scribing/journaling. Okay. So basically the idea is you start off the day in silence for like 10 minutes. It could be prayer. It could be meditation. It could be whatever that means to you. And that for me, a lot of times will be breathing exercises. So I literally will just sit in a chair and just inhale, exhale with my eyes closed and only focus on my breath, which is essentially a form of meditation. I like to do guided meditation though during a different part of this, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So for me, silence, I will pray, but then I will also do the breathing exercises and just creating that sense of mindfulness, that sense of calm, because, otherwise it's like, what does email say to do? What does the text message? What does the phone say? All that. And let me be clear, the phone has not been picked up. The phone goes in the closet at night. It goes on silent. It does not get looked at till this morning routine is done. So we'll start off with silence. Then the next step is to do affirmations. And when we're talking about affirmations, that's going to be like things that you want to accomplish or do for yourself to become the person that you want to become. There's an old way of doing affirmations, like I am a millionaire. I am 7% body fat. A lot of times that doesn't work for people because they feel like they're lying to themselves. So instead, what I do when I write affirmations out is I will write them like, I am committed to being as healthy and fit as I can be by drinking more water, lowering my sugar, going to the gym more. And so when I write my affirmations, I used to write them like that. I am super, super healthy, skinny and fit, right? But now I've changed the way I write them so that it makes more sense to my conscious mind, so that when I'm reading them, I don't feel like I'm lying to myself, but I'm also planting those seeds in my brain. Because we know, like, studies show that when you are telling the subconscious brain, it doesn't have a filter of what's right and wrong, good or bad. It just listens and then it reacts and does. And your thoughts have energy. So you start off in silence. Then we do affirmations, which can be pre-written out already, and you just review them every day. If you want to rewrite them out, you can. What I like to do is like every quarter reassess my affirmations, but I don't rewrite them every single morning just because I'm pretty much on the same page with what my goals are. So that way I can just create them and then go through them as part of the process and move on. The next part of the process is visualization. Now, what the book says visualization is going to be like, let's see, let me make sure I explain this the right way. Visualize who you need to be and what you need to do. Visualize what you really want. I have a hard time sometimes just doing that on my own. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll do a visualization meditation. So I will get on my phone at that point and go on to Insight Timer, which is a meditation app that I use. And they have different visualization meditation like episodes that you can turn on. And that's what I like, because I like the guided meditation through the visualization so that my brain just doesn't go haywire. Because to be honest with you, sometimes I don't know what I want. Sometimes I don't know what I want to accomplish. I mean, there's tons of stuff out there, or I feel like some mornings I'm just very super happy with where I'm at and I don't always know. And so having that guided methodology for me to visualize different things is very helpful. But the key here is like to visualize what you see yourself doing in action down the road. And again, studies show that all is very positive. I mean, they talk about athletes. Like I know Aaron Rodgers had said at one point when before he won a Super Bowl. He had already visualized himself throwing that pass that was caught in the end zone for a touchdown, right? That way, when it happens, you're not even really surprised. Your body, your subconscious, you knew that was what was going to happen. So that's visualization. E is for exercise. And they say in the book, like, exercise doesn't have to be 2 hours long. It literally, if you're doing 10 minutes intervals of these different things, can be 10 minutes. And that's going to get your body going. It's going to get your blood pumping. It's going to get those endorphins kicking. But you need to do something that it raises your heart rate. So something cardio based. What I usually do is I'll usually get up first thing and go exercise for like an hour. That's just my jam though. That's what I do. That's not work for me. I love it. And I'll do it fasted, meaning I don't eat anything. And then when I come home, I'll do the rest of my savers. But that works for me. For me, if I get up slow, like if I get up and do what I call like this, do the silence and affirmations and visualization, I don't have as much energy then to go to the gym. So I find for me, I like to be in action first thing in the morning, get it out of the way, feel awesome and amazing. And then I have super clarity of my mind. And then I go through my silence, affirmations, visualization. I've done my exercise. A lot of times I'll take the dogs on a walk at that point. And then the R is for reading. So one of the things that we know is when we're busy with life, it's really hard to work on personal development and growth if we're not reading and learning, right? Well, when do you do that? When you have the time to do that. And so one of the things that's when you could read your Bible. That's what I do a lot of times. That's when I'll read our devotional. I'll read other books that I'm reading, personal growth books. That's when you can read this Miracle Morning book if you are interested in this process. As far as like, you don't have to build all this time into your schedule. 10 minutes a day of reading, even if that's 5 or 6 pages, depending on how quickly you read, that is so amazing of what it does over the course of a year. I mean, if you're reading 10 minutes a day minimum, right? You may read more, but if you're only reading 10 minutes a day even, but you're reading 365 days a year, think about how much more knowledge you have and how much more you're growing. So the R is for reading and the S is for scribing/journaling. And on that, again, you can do anything. It could be a gratitude list. It could just be a brain dump. A lot of times I just do a brain dump because I just need to get out of my head all the to-dos, everything I'm feeling, even if it's a good day. Usually at this point, because I've already exercised, everything is just flowing and it's great. If it's a day where I didn't go to the gym yet and maybe I'm doing my scribing, sometimes it can be a little bit harder, but don't judge yourself. And I think that's the key here. It's not about judging yourself. It's about you trying to come up with a routine that works for you. And the whole thing behind this is when Hal was doing research on what top producers did as a morning routine, there were pieces of this lifesavers in people's routine. Like someone did silence, someone did have done exercise in the morning. Someone did journaling. Someone did reading. And he was like, well, hey, the top people consistently are doing these 6 things. They're not always all doing all of them, but they're doing a portion of them or one of them. What if I combine them all together? What kind of impact will that have on my life? And that's why I think it's just so great that you watch the video, you read the books. By the way, none of this is sponsored or anything. This is just me, Stephanie, coming to you being like, I love this. It has really helped me. I've seen the impact it's had on my husband, who sometimes hasn't always seen the value of getting up early because, again, he doesn't have to be at the office till 10 and he works late into the night compared to most people, right? And then he has an hour drive home. So for him, if he gets home at 8 o'clock and we have home dinner by 9, we're not going to bed till 11 or 12 a lot of times just because, think about it. If you got home from work, if you left your job at 5 and got home from work at 6 and ate dinner at 7, you may not go to bed till 11. That's 4 hours you get to chill out and just relax. But if your night is later, so we go to bed a little bit later. So then naturally he was like, well, I'm just going to get up a little bit later. But what happens is you just never build that time in to take care of yourself, to take care of all the things that we have coming at us. Even if you aren't in a reactive job or field, everything with our phones and our devices nowadays is designed to distract us and to just continue to keep us moving, and all the different effects with dopamine and the notifications and all that stuff. So I highly recommend that you try to have something like this incorporated into your day and just see what happens. Even if you try it for 30 days, and even if when you're journaling, it's like, this is how I feel about it. It's day 5. This is how I feel. It's the weird thing is I get really excited when I go to bed and I know that I'm going to have my miracle morning the next day, because it's like this little slice of me time. And I don't even get bothered anymore that I have to get up early, or it means I'm getting up at 6, even though technically I don't have to get up for a few more hours, right? Like, it's not about what you have to do. It's like going to the gym, right? Like, I don't have to go to the gym. I get to go to the gym. I get to be this healthy. I get to have the means to have a gym membership, right? And you start to look at it that way, like, you get to get up early and have a little bit of time. Maybe you make it special. Maybe you make coffee for yourself, or maybe you get a pair of fuzzy slippers that are super comfy and a fuzzy robe or a blanket, and that's your snuggle time with your dogs, or something just to make it really special that's enjoyable versus like, I have to get up early to do this because I guess it may help me. You know what I mean? Like, it's all in how you look at it. But I think if you give it a little bit of time, sometimes when I first started this, I was having trouble getting up early. And so what I did, and this is horrible probably, but I set 3 alarms. And that probably sounds crazy, but I'm a pretty deep sleeper. And I wear like an eye mask at night because it helps me get into REM sleep, because even though we have like plantation shutters on our windows, I can still see the light that comes in, or like even the light from my alarm clock that messes with the light on my eyelids. So I'll sleep with an eye mask so I can get into better REM sleep. So I don't see the room getting lighter naturally, right? So it's like blackout shades on my eyes. So I have my phone in the closet when we go to bed. So I set that alarm, which means I have to get out of bed and turn it off right in the morning. I have the alarm clock by my bed, and then I wear a smartwatch to bed, and I'll set that. So basically what happens is I'll set my smartwatch for like 15 minutes before the alarm is going to go off that's in the closet. That way, like, it'll vibrate. It doesn't always wake me up, to be honest, because like I said, I'm a pretty deep sleeper, but it kind of, I think, gets my body, like, subconsciously, it starts to realize it's time to get up. And then I'll set the alarm by my bed for like 10 minutes later. So again, like, yes, I can reach over and turn the alarm off, but it again helps me wake up. And then at 15, then I know I have to get up when that alarm goes off. And then what I do is I have my workout clothes. I've already gotten them out. I've already picked them out. That way, if it's dark in the bedroom, I'm not waking Leroy up. I'm not waking the dogs up to get my workout clothes. I know it matches. I'm not wearing like, navy pants and a purple shirt or whatever. So everything matches. I already know that works. I get dressed real quick. I go brush my teeth. I go throw water on my face. There's no makeup at this point. There's no lashes. None of that. No. We just go. Pre-workout's already sitting out on the countertop. My water, my BCAAs are already set out. There's no time for coffee. Nope. Coffee is the reward when I come home from the gym. And then I go. And it sucks when it's cold outside. Trust me. When it's freaking 5:45 in the morning and it's 30 degrees out, that's the last thing I want to do. But I remind myself, this is a gift to myself. This is a gift that when I'm driving home, when everyone else is waking up and I've had my hour, 45-minute long workout, that I'm feeling amazing physically and mentally and emotionally, right? It's not just a physical game. It's mental and emotional. And those are the things you can't always measure. And those are the things that as you go through your day, when you're in that sales office and when you're talking to those customers and when things are great or when things are bad, it's going to help you get through the day better, and it's going to give you more energy. The one thing I will say, you're going to get up a little bit earlier. Sometimes you're going to be a little bit more tired at the end of the day, and you might be like, oh, this isn't worth it. Just go to bed a little bit earlier. Take a bath right before bed, really get relaxed, have yourself a little evening routine. But my recommendation would be to commit to 30 days. You can do anything for 30 days. And just try it. And guess what? If it doesn't work, you can go back to living how you were. But if you are getting up to literally only have time to do your chores and responsibilities to either yourself or your family, I can tell you, you're, with much love, you're doing yourself a disservice. And the second you realize you have a choice to give yourself this time, you will be forever grateful. And I guarantee you, you may not 100% do a miracle morning. Like, I'm not going to lie to you and say I do it every single morning. There are mornings where we just don't. We get up late, we sleep in, it happens. But as a practice, if you get in the habit, the benefits you're going to find are going to surpass, just feeling good for that 30 minutes or an hour. It's going to bleed into other parts of your day and your life that are going to be positive. So with all that, I hope you guys enjoyed this book review and this book recommendation. So it's the Miracle Morning. This one is the Miracle Morning for Salespeople. You can just get the regular one. But if you are a salesperson listening to this, the cool thing about the salesperson book, they will have written it from that perspective, in the sense of they're going to give you affirmations that you can then write that are going to support you as a salesperson. They're going to talk about mindset issues that you might have as a salesperson that maybe a nurse wouldn't have, right? Or someone that works at the home kind of thing. So the main Miracle Morning book, it's going to have the same gist of why you should be getting up early, what it can do for you. But if you get the one for salespeople or real estate agents or salespeople, it's very similar. The real estate agent one may not be as applicable in the sense of, for real estate agents, their schedules can be even more flexible as far as they don't really have to go to an office, and you guys do. So I would say this is probably a little bit more applicable for you. But I love the fact that they've written it per industry so that you can feel like it's really written for you and the issues that you're facing and dealing with, and can help kind of guide some of the practices and some of the content that maybe, whether it's affirmations or gratitude lists or something like that, to really support you in this process. So if you haven't already subscribed to the show, make sure you do so. I would love you to give me your feedback. And when I ask for a review, guys, this is not about me. The reason I ask for reviews is because podcasts episodes, it's very difficult. I don't even know who subscribes to the show. I have absolutely no idea. I don't even know how many subscribers I have. I know how many downloads we have, but the way that the iTunes and all that, all the stats are recorded, the only way the show gets put in front of more people is if you submit online reviews and you download the episodes. That's the only way they know that people like this show and that it's bringing value. I don't make $1 off this show. Could I at some point? Maybe. I have absolutely no idea. Nothing's sponsored. There's no ads. This time I spend, I don't get paid to do it. It's all for you. It's all to bring you value. And I love doing it. And I love interviewing all these amazing guests. And I love bringing this kind of stuff to you. So I just want to say that when I ask for reviews, it's really just to get this show to more people out there like you that would benefit from it, because there's no other way to do it unless you have downloads or you have people sending in reviews. And I don't benefit personally from the reviews in that sense. So just want to throw that out there. So go on iTunes. If you'll submit your feedback, we'd love a 5-star review telling people what you like about the show. And then if you want to go pick up this book, I've got mine on Amazon. There's an audiobook to it. If you're like the audiobooks, if you're driving in the car, you could get the Kindle version, or you could actually get the hardback. I've got all the above, right? Because I just love, it's a great reread. It's a great, you get out of the habit. Maybe it's the holidays or traveling. Traveling for me is when I kind of get off kilter a little bit. And I let myself, frankly, because I'm a pretty structured person otherwise. And sometimes I just need a little bit of freedom, just do whatever. But when I do come back to my structured mornings, I feel like a weight's been lifted. And all I can tell you is I was reading, this will be a book that we actually can talk about on the show, but I was reading Matthew McConaughey's book, Green Lights, when we were at the cabin over Christmas. And it's a really cool book, the way he wrote it. But basically there was a part of the book where it talked about, I don't even want to say this because of the political environment we're in, but he has a chapter, and I think it's called Conservative Early, Liberal Later, or something to that effect, right? And the concept is you got to start out structured to be able to ever get relaxed, right? Like, let's talk about your sales office, right? Like, you got to kind of be super buttoned up and structured with your presentation, with your contract process, with paperwork, to then be able to 5 or 6 years later, after you understand the business, to put the art into your presentation and put the art into how you handle your files and how you do things. And so the one thing I'll say about like this, structure can give you freedom. I guess what I'm trying to say. Kind of like a budget can give you freedom. Like, do you ever listen to Dave Ramsey? And people call in and one spouse will be like, I'm totally on board. And the other is like, I need my freedom. And Dave's like, hold up. A budget gives you freedom. Doesn't feel like it right now because you're used to doing whatever the heck you want to do. But ultimately, if you get through it, the budget's going to give you way more freedom than you ever thought possible. And that's the same thing with this. This gives me so much freedom, even though, yes, it's kind of this structured morning routine that, do I have to get up early? I don't have to. Why do I want to do this? But the freedom it gives me is amazing. So hope that made sense. I don't know if that made sense about the green lights kind of add in, but it fit with what I was reading. Sometimes when I read stuff, it sounds better in my head than out loud when I try to articulate it. But basically he was saying, you got to have the structure and you got to have the button up to be able to have the freedom and flexibility and the art. Like you have to almost earn the right to be able to be flexible and have the art later on. But all right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, this is sometimes a little hard for me when it's a solo show because I don't have anybody else to ping off of. So if I went on a tangent on anything, I apologize. Would love your feedback. Let me know if you read the book, what your thoughts are. If you have any suggestions, I'm all ears. I love books. I love personal growth and development. So I would love to see what you guys are reading. Have a great day, and we'll talk soon.